Good afternoon, everybody. Mike Winkler here, and I want to take a minute and I want to talk about why is voting so hard. This is one of those strange things in life. And a lot of people, if you say, voting, they would rather catch the plague while getting COVID. A lot of people really, really hate voting. But I wanted to take a minute and I wanted to talk about the ideas behind it and why you would or wouldn't want to do it. So the gist is, the more people that vote, the less each individual vote matters. Let's say we have the dog and the cat party. And anybody that sees that the dogs are winning this year is going to do everything they can to discourage other people from voting because their pro-dog votes matter less. And this way, the cat people might get enough votes to overturn whatever the dog people want this year. It makes basic sense. If you're winning, though, you want no one else to get involved. And so much of electioneering, which I think is horrible that it's a word, is about how do I make the people that think like I do, the pro-dog party, and the people who don't think like I do, the pro-cat party, how do I keep their numbers down and bring my numbers up? The biggest way is you make it confusing. You make it hard to do. So the essential logic of voting, okay, is you make it confusing and difficult. The other thing that they've done is they have this weird 1970s technology involved in voting. Now, any of you who've known me for a while are going to know if I come from a very deep technical background. It is absolute crap that you cannot have electronic voting done completely securely. I will give you one piece of evidence. We have done our banking online completely securely for almost 40 years, since the mid-90s. This is a really long time. And no one's stealing from our bank accounts, and Visa and MasterCard do it effectively. We order from Amazon, no problem. The only reason why it's difficult is the dog people are trying to keep out the cat people are trying to keep out the dog people, so it's made difficult. I'm going to post a couple of sites up here, right? One's vote.gov, let me float that up there. And there's another one called Am I Registered to Vote, right? Which is usvotefoundation.org, as well as, weirdly enough, Facebook. Now, I cannot say how long Facebook is going to continue to post their voter registrations. But for the moment, they post periodically when elections are coming up, are you registered and how do you do it? And I would like to give you a one-stop shopping on how to do this, but you can't, because all 50 states are so darn different, right? So if we go out and we use, let's see, usvotefoundation.org or vote.gov, it is going to aim you at the registration site for any given state. You should only need to register once ever in any given state. And maybe when you move houses, you have to alter your registration, but once you're registered, you stay that way. I know there's been lots of fun and lots of people talking about maybe you've been deregistered and who can and can't vote. Once you're registered to vote, you take your driver's license or your passport if you're feeling fancy. This is all you ever need. Just bring your driver's license. Now, when you show up to vote, and those two websites, which I'll show you off in a little more detail in just a minute, are you show up to your voting precinct. Sometimes you have to wait in line, is what it is. The voting gear is incredibly simple. And there's generally a room full of old people who've been working on the voter stuff since, I don't know, I was in grade school. That will, hand you your paperwork and all that. Like I said, it's pretty simple, but it's definitely not the same everywhere. So, number one, every state has different registration requirements. In 1983, when I voted for my first presidential election, 1984, I registered the day before I voted in the 1984 re-election of Ronald Reagan. One day. You could have done that back then in that state. Most states, it's more complicated. There's waiting periods, all of that. But virtually everyone will allow you to register online. So first things first, you register. I'm going to show you those two sites, and everything is going to involve that pretty easily. And I cannot say this is what's true everywhere. I can say that this will point you at where things are true everywhere. Okay, once you're registered, most of the time you can early vote, and I recommend the heck out of it. I am a big one for early voting myself. You don't wait in line. You have 5 days, 10 days, 20 days, something like that, where you can early vote so you don't wait in line, and it's not like you didn't make up your mind to the last second. Number two on voting is you don't have to vote for anything you're unsure about. If you go in and the only thing you care about is your local cat party being in charge of the Parks and Recreation Commission, you can ignore every other question on the page. You can also click a box at the top that is vote straight cat party or straight dog party, whatever makes you happiest. But you only vote in the things you care about. There is what's called referendums. These are complicated questions that are submitted to the electorate. Sometimes these are phrased in such a way they are super complicated and super difficult to figure out. If you don't know what they are, you can leave them. But also much of the time, if you care about a specific issue, like do I or do I want legalized cats on leashes, right? Do I want this to be an issue? And this will show up on the ballot to say, do I need to put my cat on a leash? And I hope you all really appreciate my cat and dog humor here. About whether or not we need a cat leash law. There will be an awful lot of conversation beforehand about, who's pro and who's anti, and there is signs outside the polling place and all that. But a quick Google search will tell you, or if you're more inclined to use something like GPT or Copilot, it's going to take you the same place to say, man, I am living in Dogtown, Texas, and there is an article on there right now where they're saying, do we want or do we not want cat leashes? Which way do I want to vote the question? And Google will just tell you in plain language. Okay, so you can ignore people you don't care about. You can vote straight party. And if something's too complicated, don't worry about it. You just leave it. Okay, so voting is important. I'm definitely not saying voting isn't important. I'm saying the opposite of that. It is complicated. It is worth the time. It's not as hard as you might be thinking it is. And you can just vote for the things you care about. Okay, so this is, voting. How should I do it? Why should I do it? And take a look at the links I've got at the end here. Thanks.